Hello. Shadu, let me know if you can hear me.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you very much for joining today's session. We are very excited to uh, uh, share with you our first stay ahead session with Masterclass with Head of ACCA Pakistan. It is one of the initiatives under our Gear Up initiative, Gear Up platform, which we have started for our ACCA P-level students and affiliates. And the purpose is to ensure that we are making sure we are creating a platform for our students and affiliates to learn creativity, vision, and emotional quotient, and to develop their employability skills to be employability ready through different designed activities and through some fun element as well. So I'm sure most of you are already aware of this Gear Up initiative, but I would suggest everyone to kindly please follow us on your emails, on our Facebook page, and try to uh, engage with our Gear Up initiatives, which we are bringing up for you. This is one of the key initiatives of this Gear Up uh, program, and shortly Sajid will be with you, head of ACCA Pakistan. He would be sharing some great insights in his masterclass, which will help you stay ahead of your competition, which will help you score better in your interviews, use your network around you by leveraging people who you work with, your peers and your teachers, your seniors as well. So I would now be handing it over to Sajid Aslam, head of ACCA Pakistan, who would be start who would be leading this conversation with you. Sajid, are you with us?
Yeah, thank you, Shah. And I hope you can see my screen at the same time.
Yes, we can, hopefully. If someone cannot, please raise your hand or type in your questions.
Okay, thank you. I got a confirmation that we can hear or we can see the screen. Thank you very much for people who have joined today. I think this is one of a strongest theme which ACCA is running, and unfortunately, this is the weakest link once it's come to the accounting professional, engineers, or IT professionals, that how to build a network, and then how to really use that network to your advantage, as well as how you can contribute within the network as well. The power of connections. I think the first thing I encourage everybody, start thinking about who you know and why you know them, and what does it mean for them to know you, and what does it mean for you to know them. I think that's the overall purpose of having a network. When we are talking about the professional network, we are talking about who is there, why those people are there, how you are contributing to that network, and how other people are contributing, and what you can do together. Networking is a one of a skill, and that's a quite an important skill in today's world. Most of you are familiar with the LinkedIn, and the LinkedIn, more connections you have and more people validating your skill set, that's mean you will stand out from crowd. If people are there, and now the question comes out, who is validating your skills, who is endorsing your skills? If it's somebody senior enough who can go out and tell that I have worked with a person and I definitely endorse that the person is great in terms of business planning, the person is great in a strategy side, a very good once it's come to the governance, great once it's come to the financial statement preparation and disclosure, it really matters that who is saying that. So unfortunately, in today's world, it's not that what is being said, it also matters who is saying that. And this is an important distinction you have to maintain. You might have a very, very strong network, but that may not include the people you would like them to be there and endorsing and giving you a feedback in terms of your skills. And that endorsement and the feedback is also being valued by other members of the network at the same time. So, power of connections. Let's go back to the history of humanity. Human being cannot live alone. And the smallest unit in the society still exists is a family. So we are born in a family and we get connected with our parents, with our sibling. That's our first connection, which we create within this social interaction. And based on their contribution, and I'm using a word contribution intentionally, based on their contribution, we shape up our personalities going forward. You grow older, you start going to a school, you end up with a new network where you have got classmates, you got teachers. So now you are expanding your network from your family or from your immediate family to a new network, which is school system. And then again, in a school system, you will find some people who are you are very comfortable to interact with, and there are few people, they are okay to be there, but they are not a part of your inner network side of it. Similarly, from a teacher perspective, you also figure out some of the teachers are very close to you, you can really connect with them, and some of the teachers, they may be great teachers, but you are unable to connect with them. And then you moved on, you get into the college, you get into the universities, you get into the professional qualification like ACCA, and now you have got more friends coming from the school system, from the college side of it, or from your own professional qualification. So that's how you are expanding the network. But what you are doing through that journey, what's happening in the journey, that's important to understand. During that journey, when you were born and you got connected with your family as an immediate family, you are creating certain impressions, that how you respond to a certain situation, how you respond to a certain sentence, how you respond to a certain emotions. When you go to the school, there is the overall objective of the school system is to learn, and then you will create certain responses around the learning pattern, how you learn, what you learn, where you enjoy learning, which teacher, which friend or classmate really help you learning that. Again, you are creating impressions, and you are getting impressions in returns as well. And then once you come to the professional side, that's exactly what you do. In every interaction, you create an image. in every interaction, you create an experience for other person. And those experiences, those images, those interactions, those impression is what people carry for you. So you may feel as an individual that you are doing a great job, but the impression you might be creating is different. So it's important to reconcile those experiences you are creating for individuals. Even we are talking about your parents and siblings, and they will build opinions around it. So the world where we live is all around what are the journal opinion people are carrying about you, and those opinions lead to the different opportunities, or those lead to different hardships at the same time. So every interaction, I'll again go back to every interaction you will have in your life with your family, with your colleagues, with your friends, with your teachers, you will create a one impression and a one experience for them. And based on those experiences, people will develop their opinions. And based on their opinions, they will interact with you, or they will endorse your skills, or they will reflect in their network, the further network, that what they believe you can or you cannot do. Right? So the first thing which I would like you to understand, every interaction create an experience for other person, and every experience help the other person to create an opinion. And at the same time, you are doing the same. You are also part of a network of someone, right? So if they are interacting, you are also getting some experience, you are also getting some impression of the other person, and based on that, you make your decision whether you want to get engaged with that person, whether you want to refer that person, or whether you really want to endorse some of the skill set if you are asked for that, whether on a LinkedIn or in a physical world. I'll take another example. In very common in Pakistan, whenever you try to go to a restaurant, most of the people ask others how was their experience with that restaurant. Is it recommended, or can they recommend to someone else? And based on that feedback, you make your decision whether you are going to go and eat there, or whether you want to recommend somebody else to go and eat there. So that's how the network and opinions within the network works. And that's exactly valid once you come to your individual self. If if you are trying to go for a job, people will Google you, they will try to figure out who is in your network, and they will try to seek some feedback or reference. It's not sifarish we are talking about, we are talking about reference, that what people are going to say about it, say about you, in terms of once whether it's a skill set or whether that individual personality. And it's your luck that who they interact with. If they are interacting with someone who had a bad experience based on your interaction with them in the past, you will get a bad reference. And if you have interacted with somebody and you have created a good experience for them, a good impression on them, that's mean you are lucky enough you will get a good reference. And the reference comes from the networks, and the networks are created based on your interaction, how you really want to go out, meet people, and create their experiences. Just to summarize that, and I would like you to think about it, regardless what situation you are in, how you carry yourself and how you create an experience for others around you. And though that experience will ultimately determine that what type of opinion people are going to carry for you, and whenever they are asked for a feedback, what type of feedback they will give to others, which may lead or may not lead to the desired outcome what you are looking for. So that's the power of connections, which we have to make sure whenever we interact, we interact in a right way with the right mindset. Another point, so one first point is the experience which will create your network and your importance within that network. The second part which I would like to stress, that how to build one and why it's important to have a network there, right? So we talked about the feedback mechanism, but let's talk about what else this network brings and how we create that network. Networking, again, like I mentioned earlier, is a skill, and you have to understand where you are on the level of expertise from 0 to 10, where you stand in terms of the networking skill. What does networking mean? That people like to be with you whenever they have a problem which they can rely on your expertise on that specific situation. They would like to spend time with you. They can specifically take out time to spend some time with you. That's the most important thing. So that's who you will be, and that's what your experience would be. There are people within your network, you will just approach them once you have a problem. There are people in your network you really love to spend time with. There are people you approach when you want to learn something, right? So this is a different kind of network, and then everybody has got their own role based on your previous experience with them. And when we are talking about the professional network at a very, very early stage, I'll just try to explain what you should be looking at, what it really brings to you in terms of the network. It's bring a validation. When you think about yourself and you think about what your skill set is, your network help you to validate it. Network brings endorsements. If they need somebody, like if I'm sitting with someone and they say I need a specific skill set for around the governance of a tech company, I'll pick up from my network and I recommend somebody. And that would be based on my knowledge and experience, but more importantly, how that specific person has inspired me around that particular competency. Network bring resources. Sometimes you have to spend a lot of time really to create those resources, whether we are talking about the money or we are talking about otherwise. But if you are a part of a network, sometimes it's just a matter of a WhatsApp message and you can get the things done. So it's bring you more resources in term of execute, in term of influence others, as well as to get a feedback or piece of information. Network help you to build confidence. And why we are saying the confidence? Because you are getting a constant validation and you are a part of something where you feel if anything is required, you have enough people around you you can rely on. So it's build that confidence. Just like for a very young kid, they always go back and rely on their parents and siblings or teachers because they have got that confidence that who they can call upon and who they can interact with. And definitely it's bring a feedback. Sometime in your own network and particularly the friend circle, you can seek specific feedback and you do expect a very candid feedback at the same time. So this is an opportunity for anybody to improve. If you don't have a network, that's mean you cannot call upon for the feedback. And if you are not getting a feedback, that's mean you are not progressing. You don't know where you stand in terms of the certain competency and where you stand in terms of a certain skill set. And one thing which is the very important one, it brings information. It's very difficult in today's world to really understand what's happening, even from a job seeking perspective, what's happening within the Unilever or Standard Chartered or maybe Nestle's of the world. And there are a lot of piece of information in terms of the new recruitment, new opportunities, which may not be advertised, or they may be coming to the advertisement later, but you know beforehand that there is something which is coming and you start preparing for it. There is a flow of information which comes through the network. And then once you try to achieve something, the network helps you to do it together. You can't do anything alone. The network help you to build your teams, network help you to build your collaboration, and the network helps you to really work on something using other person's further network as at the same time. So this is what you get out of this networking. This is something which you get out of this uh, connections. And now the question comes on a very early stage, how you will be building your network. And that's a most important question we are going to address. What the benefit? I think by now at least we have a fair idea that the network brings benefits. So if you have any doubts, I would recommend you to take a lot of YouTube courses. What is why the networks are important? I would encourage you to go and search ACCA, the power of connections. That will help you to understand the type of connections you can use and what type of connections exist within ACCA. I would encourage you to go and look other professional insights, the reports which ACCA publish now and then. That will also help you to understand that where the world is heading and how you can really leverage those learnings and the resources at the same time. Now we come to the fundamental. The fundamental of the network development is, first you should be very clear that what you are trying to build. Most of the people are not clear that what type of network they really want to build, because they are not clear what they really want to do in your life. So the first question you have to establish for yourself, what exactly and specifically you want to do in your life. And that cannot be something like, I want to become a manager in a decent organization which has an influence. You have to be very, very specific. I want to opt, or I want to get to the finance manager role or a CFO or a CEO role of this specific organization, or these are the top 3 selections which I want to do, and based on those top 3 I want to achieve that particular role in the next 5 years or 10 years. And to get there in a 5 or 10 year, what I need a network which can help me to understand the culture and the requirement of those organizations better. I need to know what type of competency those organizations are looking for and how I can build that, how I can stay connected with those particular individuals who matters a lot once it's come to the flow of information or recruitment, if that's one of our objective. And then based on that, you start interacting with those guys. Starting a very simple start could be LinkedIn. So the first step, be very clear what you're going to do in the next 5-10 years, based on and specifically what you're going to do. Don't go vague. Be very, very specific that this is something I want in the next 5 or 10 years. To get there, this type of network I need, which can support me to get there, because it's difficult to do things alone. It's not that it doesn't happen, but it's difficult. So how you can do it together with your network? So establish that. Establish the list of people you feel are important, which can give you a feedback and which can help you to improve yourself, and once required they can provide the endorsements, whether digital format or once it's required in form of the reference letter. So once you have established the step 1 and you have established the step 2, so you know what you want to achieve as an objective, who are the people you need to network with. Now come to the third part, like how you will get connected. So there are multiple ways how we can get connected. You can start with a LinkedIn. You can start with the social gatherings and make sure wherever these guys are, you are visible and you can interact with them. You can find the friends who know those guys who are within their network. And again, the LinkedIn, most of the time the LinkedIn helps. If you click on a person, you can figure out who from your network is connected to that specific person, and you can ask for an introduction. So that's where you will get your first interaction and introduction with the person you want to get engaged. And then you have to repeat that cycle till you get all the people which you feel are important within your network. And that's going to take some time. That's going to take some preparation at the same time. But now we come to the generating experience. So if I'm there, so I have identified I want to become a CEO of a X organization, or X, Y, or Z. I list normally 3. So I want to become a CEO of X, Y, and or Z organization in the next 5 years. And to get that, this is the list of board member I need to interact, and I should be able to know them better, and they should be able to know me at the same time. And then I find a way to get myself introduced to them, whether I used LinkedIn or I use the social gathering where I know they are coming as a speaker or a participant. Again, you have to Google it. You might have to put um, some Google alerts there whenever those names come up, depend if it's a famous person. So you will get those Google alerts, what's happening in their life. And now times comes to create an experience. Now this is the time when you interact one to one, face to face, or as a participant. You create your first interaction with them, and that's where your first experience comes into play. If you go and let's say your objective was to become a CEO, you go there and you say, guys, by the way, my name is XYZ and I want to become your CEO. I don't think that's a good start for the conversation. You go and you try to put some question, you try to explore things with them, and then you have to listen. And that's where it's really become challenging, because you know what you want to do, you have a plan in mind, you know the person you are interacting is an important person which can help you to get to the plan. Now you find a way to get introduced, and in the introduction, if you will try to really bring everything which you want out, the other person is not even interested right now. So you have to use questioning technique, like you can ask about that, how the business is going, what is the right direction, what they feel about the economy. Put a question and then wait and listen, and the people will talk about it, but listen carefully, and you will find another question. You might spend 2-3 minutes max. They should not be irritated with your presence, so you might spend 2-3 minutes with them and ask for a one-to-one meeting separately, where you can go to their office or you can invite them for a coffee or something, and where you can elaborate that conversation again. So far you are still building the network, you are not leveraging it right now. It's not the time to leverage because your plan is a longer term. So from a simple 2-3 minute interaction, the outcome you take is a one-to-one meeting. You go and meet them and try to understand their aspiration and the preference better. But at the same time, now this is a high time where you start talking about one or two competencies which you have, one or two experiences you have, in a good fun way. It can't get into a very, very formal conversation. So we are exchanging information, we are sharing information, we are creating an experience for each other, where the other person is telling about their priority and you are a good listener. And at the same time, whenever you get an opportunity, you talk about yourself, your experiences, past experiences and competencies, and try to create an impression for them that what you can do for them in a near future or longer future. So you start seeding those plants, you start putting those small interactions as an experience for those people who matter. And then you try, now that comes to this to another one. So again, go back and summarizing it, you have clarified your objective for the next 4 5 year 10 years. You have identified the organization which you want to, and I'm talking about a very standard job seeking one right now. So you know what you want to become, for which specific organization. You have listed down the people who matters a lot, who can help you to understand that organization and opportunity better, and at the same time in a decision making they also matters a lot. So you have created the list. Number 3, you manage to get yourself introduced to them. So you have used either your network or a social interaction, and then you have created a 2 to 3 minutes value proposition for yourself, where you can really go and talk about, ask questions, and then try to really like how you really place the right things at the right time. So you start putting in some of the planting some of the seeds there, so you can really saw it later. So you got introduced, as an outcome you ask for a one-to-one meeting, and then you start building the conversation there. So it takes time till you really get to the level where you get the outcome which you are looking for. And you might not, you decide after having all the information that this is not the right organization, but still that person within the network matters, because you have created the experience and you want to continue creating a positive experience for that person. Now, here we come to the fourth level, where you start interacting with some other people at the same time. So in your list, you must have like 8 to 10 people you want to meet. And then you do the same, like you get yourself introduced, you create another meeting with the guy and have a one-to-one. And then after third, fourth, fifth people, you start having interactions where you can get 2 or 3 people together, and you can help them to build the conversation at the same time, where you are providing some of the input which is inspiring, relevant, and that also helping them to understand you better in a positive way. So it's gonna take some time. Building a network, and particularly the professional network, takes time. So, and you need a lot of people helping you to create those introductions. And by the time, let's say there is a CO position or the CN comes into play in a 12 months or 3 years, this is the network which going to help you to endorse and validate. So that's a one example. Again, if I summarize the example, you have set your objective, you picked up the people who matters a lot in terms of the list, you got yourself introduced using LinkedIn, using some of your own resources or people you know, friends, family. Based on that first introduction of 2 to 3 minutes, you try as an outcome to get a one-to-one meeting with them. You expand your conversation and you repeat that process with multiple people, and then you try to meet those multiple people in a one network. So if they know each other, great. If they don't know each other, you will become their common connection at the same time, where they will appreciate that you have introduced 2 or 3 different people who did not know each other before, but because of your connection, you invited people over the coffee, or in one of a social gathering, you introduced them to each other. Now you are becoming an important part of the network, because now they get to know more people through you. So that's a one example how this networking works. What are the key areas where people really get challenged, particularly the people who are not very social, the people who have got their own challenges? The one thing which always become a challenge while you are talking about the networking are fears. We always operate, and significantly in our society, we operate under the fears that people will judge me, and people will build an opinion. What if they develop a wrong opinion for me or a negative opinion for me? What does it mean for my future? Right? So this is one of a fear which exists a lot. But believe me, if you overcome that fear, and if you plan your interaction in a right way, there is a likelihood of success, and the probability of success is way higher compared to the probability of failure. So the courage is the first step. Experiment that. If you feel that, if you are a type of person who has those fears, try that by making new friends who are not directly linked with your professional network, or not linked directly with your with the network or your objective. Try to experiment that. Try to experiment these things within all your family side of it. You will once you will start experimenting that, you will be more confident that how the networks are built. Some of the fundamental rules when we talk about the networking or building the connections, the fundamental rule is listening. It's If you are a good listener, you can build a very meaningful conversation. Rule number 2, empathy. Try to understand, and that's where the Shah talked about the emotional intelligence earlier. Try to empathize, try to understand which situation they are going through. So you should not be only focused what they can do for you. If you get an opportunity to do something for them, do use that opportunity. We have also witnessed people who do not really play on a forefront or a front foot once it's come to helping out somebody. If you are a person who really enjoy helping, you will have a better chance to build a very reliable and genuine, authentic network there as well. Then the use of word thank you. I think thank you is one of a word which really aspire everybody, if you really bring that thank you as something which has got authentic and emotions with it, that you genuinely mean it, you really value their input, or you valued that interaction, or you valued that time or comment which they have made. Thank you could be a very, very formal. You can write a letter if that's really required. If you are interacting with somebody who's very, very senior, that thank you can go in term of the letter. That thank you could be a one WhatsApp message recognizing that you have enjoyed the interaction you had a few hours before, or a week back, and then you thank you for all the input which they have provided, or all the interaction. Or if you can do that in person, do go to the person and thank you, and specify why you are thanking them, what a type of contribution they have made. And those are the genuine things people do contribute, which we are most of the time we just ignore that, or we do not go back and thank them enough. So I'll not go to in a long detail of the art of networking, and I'm sure you can figure it out on the ACCA website, as well as you can see a lot of YouTube videos. There is a lot of TED Talks which are available, but do try to understand and establish art of networking, and try to understand the power of connections which exist out there, right? But for me, I'll just leave you with listening, empathy, and the thank you. And if you really want to test it, once you go back home today, try to thank you your parents, your sibling, for whatever contribution they have made to make you a better person for the society. Go back and thank you your friends who must have stood by with you, by you when the times was required. And do thank you to your teachers, to your supervisors who have contributed in building you as a, or helping you to become a better professional. Find a reason to thank you people, right? So this is, make it as a habit. So listening is a one, empathy is another one, and the thank you is the one which I always found uh, very, very useful. A simple thank you, genuine thank you with a smile, that will help people to remember you. And if you can specify why you are thanking them, really they will feel very, very happy, and they will feel that they have contributed something which other person has genuinely valued. So use that thank you technique and start experimenting or experiencing it every day with the people around you, and you will find out that this one thing is helping you to creating a different type of network or a connection. So just taking you back again to remind you the few steps. uh, Number one, define objective for yourself in a 5-10 year. Try to figure out and be very, very specific, don't go vague. Try to figure out what type of network you need to really get to your objective. Find a way to get connected with those people who matters, or who you feel can help. Based on introduction, try to create an outcome of a one-to-one meeting, and from that one-to-one meeting you can build the further connections, and you can build the further conversation. Once you have got more people in your network through your one-to-one connection, try to help them connect with each other, so you will become a catalyst who create a further network, so they will value your contribution at the same time, and they will value you at the same time in terms of your networking skill, and enabling other people to get to know each other, particularly if they have got a common interest. And then based on that interaction, every interaction you do, make sure you create an experience which create a positive impact and a positive endorsement. And from a, during those interaction, listening is a must of is a most important skill, so people can feel whatever they are saying, you are actively listening, and you are reflecting back in your conversation, and you are building a conversation which is meaningful. Empathy, do try to understand at what stage or state the other person is. You can't just uh, build a conversation without knowing their emotional state, and then you try to or you expect that you can get the outcome which you are looking for without providing them an opportunity to look some value from your interaction. And use thank you as a technique, start using it I know for accountants, sometimes it's very, very difficult to go out and say thank you. We feel that we deserve that, or we were entitled to it. And sometimes that small thing, or we feel, sometimes I have interacted with some people who feel the other person really know that you really appreciate the effort, but saying thank you makes a big difference there. Now I'll bring you to the next level, and I'll just talk about what the power of connections can do for you at a different stage. And right now I'm talking about the power of connection with ACCA. You know, when we talk about the Harvards and we talk about the Ivy League colleges, it's not about what they teach there. It's about how you build a network which throughout your life help you to really understand things in a different way, and they become your resources. And you, everything you do, you always find someone within the network who can help you understand the situation better. So the first thing you do as an ACCA student, if you are still on an exam stage, this network help you to interact with other students, so that help you to get to a better exam success. ACCA help you to really interact with the approved learning partners who can help you to really learn with the approved content. Then it can help you to get assistance for the tutors which are working with the approved learning partner. So that's a one connection with ACCA, help you to really interact with the students, as well as they help you to interact with the approved learning provider, which can increase your probability to succeed in the career or in the exams. uh, it helps you to find your new career as well. Like, there's a network of the employer. There are a lot of events which take place throughout the year where you get an opportunity to interact with employers. I think those are the ideal opportunity where you come to those events, and then you can get yourself introduced to some employers you feel is important. And from that introduction, that's a wonderful opportunity. From that one introduction, you can take it to the one-to-one meeting, and then you can start building your overall career around that employer which you feel is important today or going forward. uh, we have got a network of partners like Oxford Brookes or MSc from the University of London. If you really want to go further, you can avail that network, and you can avail that connection which ACCA is bringing to the table, and really stand out from the crowd. You can make more effort, you can use the competency framework, you can use the CPDs, and then really add value to yourself in terms of the personality or qualification. And then number four, you can extend your network by interacting with ACCA members. You are 225,000 ACCA members, and in total, you are 750,000 students and members put together. So if you are traveling and you are going anywhere in the world, it's just, you can Google it, or you can go to ACCA global site, and you can try to figure out that which member exists there, or how you can get connected with that, or you can use LinkedIn for that. And that will create your extended networks by using ACCA members, or ACCA students, or ACCA learning provider there, or ACCA approved employer there, and you can explore your opportunities using those connections. And most importantly, with all the networks and with all those connections, and with all that competency framework and the university degrees or the partnerships we have in terms of the CPD, you will be future ready. So this power of connection with ACCA, with a continuous professional development, will keep you future proof. You will always be ready with the changes. Your professional insight is creating such a strong connection with the rest of the world. That's your way or lens. You can really try to extrapolate if how the things will play out in future. So your professional insight and plus CPD plus your overall network will help you to be future ready at any point of time. So this is what ACCA brings to the table. ACCA is your common connection, whether you are at an exam stage, whether you are at a training stage, whether you are looking for an additional qualification, whether you are looking for a connection with the ACCA members, or whether you are looking for a continuous professional development and you are using ACCA professional insights or ACCA CPDs that will help you to really keep building upon your own competencies. So this is where the power comes from, the connection, and you are part of a 750,000 active students and members. Avail that. So this is a very, very strong power of connection which ACCA brings to the table. The way you really want to, it depend that at what stage you are, and ACCA is always there to connect you with these. So on that note, I'll just end my presentation, and I can understand we still have got 10 minutes for question answer. So any question you can type, or any question you can ask. I hand over to Shah, and you can take Shah. You can moderate a question answers for us.
Thank you very much, Sajid. It was a wonderful talk, and I believe it will be very useful for our affiliates and students to actually use their power of connections and leverage that and be ahead of the game. We have a couple of questions already on the panel, and we would ask all the attendees to kindly punch in their questions so we can answer them in the last 10 minutes. I would just start from one of the questions our attendees has put forward. Uh, it was from Saira Khan, and she was asking how much can ACCA help employees to getting a job in finance department of multinational companies. Sujit.
Yeah, thank you. So I think the question is around how we can help, really to help you to land to the job which is you are aspiring. Number one, it's a flow of information. That's the first thing. But again, going back to the fundamental, ACCA is not going to take your CV and give it to some employer that this is the person you need to hire. We can create an opportunity, number one, which brings out the information, which is our, whether we talk about the job insight or ACCA career. So information is there. Number two, we work with the employer to make sure when they are going through the interview, they understand the stage you are in, whether you are going as a trainee or you are going as a member. So we help the employer to understand the differentiation between the students, which is either the professional stage or affiliate or a member. So that's where we work with them. Number two, we work with them in terms of understanding the active and inactive students and members and affiliates, so they can understand the risk around it. So we work with the employer to make sure they understand the qualification and the flow of information is there. And then above all, we create a lot of events where you can come and join, and then you can get introduced with those guys who matters. We can help you to build your network, which can help you to land to the job which you are looking for. The one thing which ACCA will not be doing, that taking a list of students, that these are the students who are interested there, and they go and they work in that. uh, that's not what we do. We create their awareness, and we try to create the brand awareness and the understanding of qualification. That's why in today's world, if you open up the newspaper, and again, caution is that the newspaper or the formals channel only get 30% of the jobs. The rest comes through your network. So the 30% of the jobs which are being advertised, whether it's coming from the public sector or private sector, you will find the ACCA qualification in most of those advertisements. So that's, we have seen a change in some like last 3-4 years. So now they recognize and identify it better. But again, it will come back to you, what is your objective, how you are mobilizing your network, and how you are interacting within that network. So we can create an opportunity to help you to create a network. What we can't do is to help you to pass through that interview, or really go and create a new opportunities for you if it doesn't exist. But now whenever there is an opening, ACCA by default is there.
Thank you very much, Sajid. There is another question from Vadud Alam Zari. He has said that his LinkedIn contacts don't connections don't respond positively. All they do is only add them for expanding their connection list. How can someone uh, use their LinkedIn connections effectively to get jobs?
uh, I think one thing you need to understand, if I know somebody is getting connected with me because they are looking for a job, so that's mean they are not going to add value to me. Why I should add them in my connections? So that's a question which everybody will have. Why you will add somebody in your connection if you feel that it's not going to add value for you? So you should figure out that why you are connected. That's what my first thing when I was talking about. Do not try to go and talk about that I am here to get a job, please help me. That's not how it works. You have to go back and you have to build a rapport with the person, whether it's by sharing the good content, good article, relevant content. You have to really add a value in your network before people start valuing you. So just having a network where you go on a day one and you ask for a value, that's not how it works. That's why the networking and the connection is a long term game. It will take you at least a year or two to build a reliable active network. That's mean the people who are at a professional stage, they have to go out and start building one. You can't expect that, okay, once I'll be done, I'll start looking into building a network. That's not how it works. So again, if you are going on a LinkedIn and you are connecting with somebody, so you have to really create a value for that, and try to get a third person. If you're not direct connection with them, try to create a reference that why you are connecting with them and who has referred you there. So these are the fundamental things. If you try to avoid those and you try and go that this is my CV, please find attached this one for a consideration, you will not hear back from that person ever.
Thank you, Sujit. There is another question from Amar Malik. He says, "What role does language play in making our connections more powerful?"
Uh, Unfortunately, in Pakistan, the language matters. But how much language matter is you can overcome with that. I know there are a lot of people who may not be as great in English as other people would like to see them. But at the same time, everybody understand English is not our first language. Try to improve that for sure. But at the same time, it's not a limitation. Limitation is the quality of conversation, even if you are doing in Urdu. But definitely if you are talking to a certain organization or people from the certain organization who expect you to speak in English, you have to overcome that one. So you have to really discover that if you have a plan, let's say if somebody is talking about a job in a multinational, then what does it take? Language is one of a skill, so you have to start working on it. So it does play a role, particularly the organization. Depend on the organization you are seeking a role in. And number two, it's not only the language, it's the articulation and the authenticity of the content and conversation you are going to build. That matters a lot. So if you have got a good command over the language, but your content is not substantial, that's mean after some time people will figure out that it's a great language, but he has got a great language skill, but the content and the context he shares in the conversation is not up to quality. And again, you will start losing the authenticity there.
Thank you. There is another question from Umar Ehsan. He is asking that in respect of opportunities to enhance professional network, top 3 points which will help to build relationship with unknown. Top three suggestions from you, Sajid.
I think the first thing, have your value proposition ready. Like if you are going to meet somebody first time, I would definitely suggest be very clear how you are going to do your introduction. For example, if I go, I can introduce myself. My name is Sajid Aslam, and my competency is that I work on the turnarounds, I work on a strategy side and the business development. So that's the first thing. That depend that the person I'm talking what they are interested in. If I don't know the person, or the person doesn't know me but I know the person, I have to do a certain background that where I can get engaged better. So the first thing, if you want to meet somebody who does not know you, the first thing you have to do is the background checks, and then find out why you want to meet that person and what is the common theme which you can bring out. Is there any common person you can use as a reference point to introduce you? If not, doesn't matter, you just have to go straight, have a courage, introduce yourself, and then in a 2-3 minute interaction you have to request your one-to-one conversation over the tea coffee as a next step. So be very clear on the outcome. But if you go and introduce, this is what I do and I'm looking at a job in your organization, the conversation is gone.
Thank you, Sujit. I believe that's all for today. And Thank you very much for taking time out and doing this masterclass with all our students and affiliates. And thank you very much for all attendees who have attended. A few of the questions are unanswered because of the time, and a few of them are very generic, very specific questions related to job hunting and related to their training opportunities. So for that, I would suggest please stay tuned. Contact your local offices. There would be people to help you out. Contact your local learning partners. They would be there to help you out. Under this Gear Up initiative, we are setting up employability support desk at your ALPs, so you would be getting support in terms of your job and training opportunities there. Nonetheless, you can always contact your local office, ACC local office, and ask for the support in terms of knowing what job and training opportunities are available in your area. Thank you very much, everyone. Please stay tuned. We will be coming back with another episode of this particular Stay Ahead Talks, a masterclass which will be delivered by head of ACC Pakistan with some new topic which would give you more insight and give you that advantage edge to be ahead of your peers. Thank you very much, and hoping to see you soon.
Thank you.
Please do share your feedbacks with us so that we can improve on our sessions in future, and we could come up with those particular topics which can actually deliver value to yourselves. Thank you very much.